Okay, so you want to write a story, but you've got a blank page and don't know where to begin. Or maybe you've started already and you don't know if you've begun in the right scene. Either way, I've been there and I've worked with plenty of other writers who have been there too. I've possibly read hundreds of stories and worked with dozens of writers. And through all of it, I've come up with 3 main points to help you with arguably the most important part of your story, the beginning. Welcome back to the Wrestling with Words podcast. My name is Cameron. I'm a writer, an editor, and your host. Here we talk about all things related to writing and storytelling. And the goal is to help you tell better stories while also understanding how the best stories are told. Okay, so for those of you who are in the midst of your story, there are still some big takeaways for each of these sections that I'm going to talk about. So if you aren't necessarily working on the start of your work, there are still some interesting things to take into consideration. I'll point those out as we go. The first big thing to consider in terms of writing the start of your story is to start the story as close as you can to when something is going to change. This can be the world or setting changing, the plot or narrative shifting, or something happening to a character. This change should really affect the primary viewpoint character or characters in your story. We see this happen all the time. And when it does happen, it gives us conflict immediately. It makes us care about what is happening and who it is happening to. With this idea, starting the story as close to some kind of change as we can, this raises 2 important questions that you need to answer. Determine who this story is about, and determine what the story is about. Obviously, this is a very high-level overview of what you're going to be actually writing, but it's important for 2 key reasons. One being it establishes the character or characters who are going to be in the story. And 2, it establishes what is going to happen and what you want your audience to think or feel in your story. But this is all pretty obvious, right? What is the actual takeaway here from these points specifically? Well, the important thing to make sure is that the who and the what are connected. And the change that is taking place at the start relates to these things in some way. One of the biggest mistakes I see new writers make is that there is a disconnect between the central conflict and the main characters. Or rather, there isn't enough conflict happening around these main characters. As an example, we can look at the opening of Pluribus. This show opens with Carol already outside the New World Order. The show drops us into one immune person's reaction to a planet of hive-minded people. So the premise and the point of view are married. The show's opening immediately makes the who, Carol, and the what, the hive mind takeover, linked, which is exactly what a start should set up. We can also look at the novel Salem Ascends. In Salem Ascends by Joshua Bancroft, the first chapter of the first book, Thomas Salem's wife goes missing at the base of the tower, kicking off the quest to find her. Immediately, the hook is set up. We want to know what happened, where she is, and whether Salem can find her. So we need to ask ourselves at the start of the story, is there enough conflict happening to our characters? That is, whomever is present at the very start. Are the point of view characters the closest characters to the main conflict? This is more of a general thing to keep in mind and helps influence who the story is about. Also, do the characters reflect what the story is about? This more so helps project the moments after the start of your story. It's good to keep in mind, but not necessary at the very, very start. And finally, can you identify the main thing that this story is about? Similar to the prior comment, how this relates to the start of your story is that this will be the promise that you are setting up. Does the start of your story get you closer to identifying what your story is about? And when we start to demonstrate who the story is about and what the story is about, or better phrase, the character closest to the conflict, we can start looking at what might be the most important part of your story, the opening. All right, so for the first section, that was really both a method of high-level planning to kind of consider and a gut check of what you might have already put on the page or in your outline. This next part can work most of the time for every scene, but especially when it comes to the start of your story and that first scene. Just like how I feel about attending parties, the start of your story should arrive late and leave early. Or in more common terms, get in late and get out early. The thing that we are targeting in terms of what we are entering late and leaving early from is the scene. What this does is help get us as close to the conflict as possible, and as close to that moment of change as possible. We don't meander and build up to an event. If you think you need a lot of runway or that you need to sort of set the scene, you are probably already doing more than you should. As an example, The Last of Us, both the game and the TV show, start the morning of, or at least right before, the outbreak. Or from another game, we can think of Soma. You wake up in a ruined research facility and discover the horror as you move throughout. There is a level of intimacy and immediacy with every detail as the player tries to figure out what is going on, who they are, and what exactly is happening. And we could look back at the aforementioned Salient Ascends, but I want to instead look at another book that does this very well, Jeff Vandermeer's Annihilation, the first book in the Southern Reach trilogy. Annihilation doesn't really explain Area X before we enter it. Scenes begin inside the strange cordoned off area. The book starts from the biologist's perspective when she is already in Area X, carrying out their mission. Vandermeer avoids explanatory run-ups throughout the series. The reader encounters events at the moment that they become unsettling, and scenes end before the mystery is over-explained. And this strategy not only works at the start of your story, but also on a scene-by-scene basis or a chapter-by-chapter basis. This becomes very effective at hooking your readers throughout your story, improving your overall pacing and the general momentum. Another writer who does this extremely well, and is the first that kind of comes to my mind, is George R. R. Martin. If you want to see this for yourself, I suggest just reading a few chapters from any of the books in A Song of Ice and Fire, but even some of his prior work does this well too. And you will kind of see just how effective he is at using this principle to keep you interested, questioning what is going to happen next, and more importantly, reading. But just as important as the opening is, or the general philosophy around scenes, we need to consider the other most important thing in any story, and that is the ending. A story without a clear destination can feel rudderless. Even a loose ending, a sentence or two that describes the protagonist's final emotions or moral state, will probably transform how you write the beginning. When you can already see the ending, you can start to set up premises and promises in the opening. You concede the protagonist's wound or false belief. You can set up central questions, and you choose an opening that will have some kind of payoff. In Lisa Krone's Story Genius, she frames this as a practical exercise. Identify the protagonist's internal change first, so every scene pushes that change forward. And experienced TV writers like Vince Gilligan, the writer behind Pluribus, regularly plans endpoints for seasons and let that destination shape the openings and the different beats so that those internal scenes feel like they aren't just loose points without any sort of connection to the finale. John Truby, the author of The Anatomy of Story, emphasizes designing the story so that the ending grows organically from the setup. Truby suggests building the whole story around a designing principle and the moral endpoint. All the main focus of this video is looking at the start of your story, or how to start your story. Having a clear sense of where a scene is going and where the story is going is essential. Knowing even roughly where your story ends changes everything about the start. When you can see the ending, you can already begin to create your setups. You can pick an opening beat that foreshadows the protagonist's final moments or their emotional change. You seed the necessary questions and you avoid wandering setups that don't really lead anywhere. However, applying that first point that I brought up and considering where the story is going to start will certainly help you with planning or even writing towards some kind of thematic ending. The start of the story is really all about setting up all of the premises and preparing your audience for the final promise. Sure, throughout your story, there will be little promises fulfilled, but the ending will be the lasting impression. Having that ending in mind, even if it's a loose conclusion, is better than meandering your way to some flat, half-baked idea. But let me know where you are in your own story. What kind of story are you currently working on, and how far along are you? If you want to further support me and what I do, you can check out my free newsletter over on Substack. I publish some things that I am wrestling with myself, along with these videos, transcripts, and notes. You can also get a link to that along with all my other content information in case you want to submit a question or share your own thoughts. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.